Hey everyone, thanks for being here. While researching this topic of scouts, I came across this book that I thought we could discuss. It's called Indian Scout Talks, circa 1914. What they have been teaching children through this program is very telling. I know that most want to believe that scouting was or is a good thing for our children. But when you consider exactly what they're teaching and that its target audience is under the age of 18, well, maybe we should be more involved in asking questions about this. Even if this is an old book, do you know how many scouts this book guided or taught? It's just something to consider. There is good and bad in everything, and we have to discern between the two. As we can see, there are many teachings involved in scouting, and for time purposes, as many of you already know, I'm going to stick to just a few important or notable quotes. Quote, "We will follow the Indian method, for the American Indian is the only man I know who accepts natural things as lessons in themselves, direct from the great giver of life." So one of my questions here is, did the American Indian follow Jesus Christ, or did they follow other pantheistic deities? I think we find more often than not, usually other cultures celebrate the pantheistic, meaning they worship more than one God. So, beginning with another quote here, "All learning is a dead language to him who gets it secondhand." Close quote. So, what exactly does that mean? It means discovering or learning things for yourself. The first part that this is teaching is to find out for yourself whatever it is you're wanting to know, and to push through what a child would consider fearful, like darkness, unfamiliar sounds, maneuvering through the dark. Yet there exists in us, as in you, a dread of strange things and strange places, light and darkness, storm and calm. They affect our minds as they do yours, until we have learned to familiarize ourselves with earth and sky in their harsher aspects. He learned to distinguish different trees by the rustling of their leaves at night in the dark. He became accustomed to travel at night and aware of all of the unseen presences all about you. And you understand the communications of the wild creatures. And in the event of danger, you must remain perfectly motionless, yet still planning a method of escape. It's interesting that he points out the shining pupil of the eye is a great giveaway. I think it's noteworthy because a student is also called a pupil. This is just one example of how they begin to teach you to find things out for yourself, to allow yourself to immerse in whatever darkness, whatever sounds, whatever it is that you're involved in. And it really is putting self first. And I would like to encourage you to read the full context, which you can find at the Library of Congress's website. My intention, as usual, is to just highlight certain points. And with that being said, I would like to point out another lesson that is being taught. Quote, "The boy is neither frightened or forced. He follows soon of his own accord, and the lesson is begun aright under the eye of an experienced master." Close quote. The whole point being to have the child follow of their own accord or of their own will. And what do you suppose they mean by experienced master? What qualifies the word experienced? Or for that matter, the word master? I mean, I had no idea until reading here that a Turkish bath is really a sweat lodge. There are certain things that are being taught in this book that aligns more with occult teachings than they do following Jesus Christ. And I think that's the biggest point I'm trying to make here. But let's continue. I mean, the more of this I read, the more occult teachings do I see. I mean, they teach you how to position yourself outside around a fire. They teach you lying directly on the ground, rising early each day, stretching, yawning, which sounds like yoga to me. They also do this plunging into cold water. That is another teaching. That sounds like a ritual to me. I mean, we've heard that, taking the plunge. Any of those that remember the 1970s, there was even a Nestea commercial based around taking the plunge. This lines up with occult teachings. They also note the use of water, or using water as a mirror. They also express fasting to develop endurance. They don't fast as a setting apart for God. They fast to develop their endurance. There is a difference. They want you to perfect yourself. And I don't really know what else to say other than it sounds and lines up more with occult teachings than it does the teachings of Jesus Christ. So I have to reiterate here that most of the native teachings really align more with those of a pantheistic belief and not a monotheistic belief. These beliefs are being taught to the American Christian subdivision families of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, whose children were active in the scouting movement and active in the Freemasonic Christian churches, not the true followings of Jesus Christ. A lot of churches we see today are being run by Freemasons. So we have to ask ourselves how much Jesus is involved in modern day Christianity when you take that into account. Everything is being controlled, and it's being controlled through that system. I think the bigger teachings from the handbook for scouts and the Indian teachings really teach children how to spy and how to be discreet about it. And this is the same exact thing that we found with the Zulu tribe over in Africa. We found the same thing, or should I say, a reoccurring theme among indigenous tribes, and that is children are used in warfare. And I believe that that was the biggest thing the scouting movement was really based on. I think we are all aware that there are different cultures that have their own beliefs and teachings, but there is a crossing of cultural lines, putting the teachings of one culture over another culture. Well, it is what it is, and it really is a war between the have and the have-nots. And there is a different and distinct difference that I'm referring to here that has to do with children being taught with programming from cultures other than their own and choices one makes with their own beliefs. And any rational adult will understand what I'm saying here. This tactic has been used against us for many centuries, and probably will continue to be used against us until the return of Jesus Christ. With so much more to discuss here, I'm doing some more videos going through this book, because I've only covered the first 2 chapters, and there is so much more. So this will be continued. Thank you so much for joining me. I am continuing the Out of Order series. I think the next one is also a follow-up on some more merit badges. And just so you know, I am going to be following up on the Shriners. Most of you already know that my grandfather was a Shriner, and there are certain things that I can confirm. And let me just say right here that one of those is you absolutely have to be a Freemason in order to be a Shriner. That is 100% true. So there is a lot more. I'm chipping away at this, so to speak, one video at a time, and sometimes for time purposes, I can only get to so much. And I'm in the middle of trying to update all my technology, so bear with me while I do that. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you so much. Please continue to do that. Please continue to like and share and subscribe. I've been very much dedicated in not monetizing my channel, but I will tell you it's becoming more difficult each day with every update and change in service and terms that all of the platforms do. So with all of that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll be back. Thanks.